to keep us in chains by a show of hands. Who else is sick and tired of the same 1%? Trying to keep us small, trying to keep us from getting out. Minimizing the struggles they've caused, saying we're not working hard enough.
We really should stop this fighting. Otherwise, we'll miss the fireworks.
There won't be any fireworks.
And here we go. And welcome, everybody, to Suck It. I am the great and powerful King of Kings, Prince of all that is awesome. Derek, how the fuck are you on this first show of the new year, January 4th of the hopefully better year that is 2021? Welcome, welcome, welcome. A brand new year of shows, a brand new year of fun and excitement and music and comedy and everything else in but fucking tween. Are you ready for this? Because I know I am. We have some huge shit coming up in the next month that I'm not going to tell you about because it's not 100% official, but when it comes out, you're going to, yeah, it's good shit. Big acts coming on soon, and it's going to flip some people's lids, and it's going to take the show to another level, and I'm really, really stoked. So just know that big things are happening. But you know what? Fuck the future, because right now the future is now. Because right now we got some big things happening right tonight. Because not only do I have a beautiful California blonde with me tonight, but she's also a comedian and an actress and a stunt person. Yeah, I said stunt person. That's what we fucking say. Because, and that is acted and stunt personed in some of my favorite fucking movies, because we all know how much of a fucking nerd I am. So we'll go into all that and a whole bunch more, because that's what we do on this fucking show. So please welcome the beautiful Jessica Winther. Hey, how are you?
I know. I'm a mess. Hi.
You're not a mess.
I love how you introduced me, and it's like California blonde, and I'm wearing my boy cut today. Big ass hair that literally just sheaths over my entire body, and I'm like, fuck it, I got bad hair today. I'm just gonna put it up in a bun. I'm not really representing my city, my state well, except for I don't have COVID yet, so I guess
you know, you can't complain about hair when your hair looks like mine does. I mean, this shit is fucking crazy.
I know, but you're a dude. You can just beanie it up and
that's
be
exactly.
Like, oh, I gotta put a hat on. I mean, I sometimes do that, but beanies aren't my thing. They don't look good on me. I look like a cone head.
Yeah, I mean, people always ask, why do I wear a beanie? That's why I fucking wear a beanie.
Never mind. Well, people will always ask why, you know, I walk around in this little getup, my crown, when I walk around in my horns, and I'm like, because I'm a fucking trophy wife, bitch. I'm representing the Vikings. So ridiculous.
Yes, you are, trophy wife. Any man should be proud to have you up on their mantle.
Yeah, the problem is the mouth. I'm the trophy that speaks. I'm like the Pez trophy. You're just like, oh shit, and it's not sweet, it's sour. You're like, what did I buy? Yeah, I know.
See, I like the sour. See, I'll take the Sour Patch Kids over a Pez dispenser any day of the week.
By the way, me too. Because you need you need it both, right?
You do. You need that sour and then the sweet. Because what the hell's the point? If somebody's not going to challenge you in life, what the hell's the point? I don't need somebody walking around going, yes, dear, all the time. I'd fucking punch them in the face. I want someone to be an asshole and then say yes, dear.
Or yes, dear, and then be an asshole. Like, at least start with the pleasantries, and then I'm like, what the fuck? And then close it up with, yes, dear.
Exactly. You know, I said it the other day, because I'm going through a divorce right now, and it's like, you know, and this speaks true to what we're saying, because you'll get it in a second. But, you know, I don't ever want to win the lottery, because then that would be like, what the hell's the point of winning the lottery with a person that's just like fits all of your needs? It's never gonna there's no challenge there. So just be happy with your fucking $5, free ticket on your $1 scratcher, and just move on with your life.
I love that you're bringing up lottery. My girlfriend plays, she loves the lottery. And I'm always like, and I don't know if this is true, I don't gamble because I'm just not lucky that way. But it's like, I'm so fine with it. But she always plays the lottery. And I'm like, really? I feel like people that have money on some level don't ever win the lottery.
No.
Is that true?
I would, because I don't think they play as often as we would think.
They don't need to play. And the rich people don't play.
I don't think they play the lottery. Now, I know they gamble. I mean, they'll go to the track. Yeah. They'll go to, casinos and stuff like that and play blackjack and $1 million fucking hands of, Texas Hold'em and shit like that. But I don't think they're going to 7-Eleven and buying a fucking lottery ticket.
I personally I'd rather spend $5 on a coffee than a lottery ticket, with the chances of me winning are slim to none. So I don't get the lottery concept. I know people win, they all blow it, they go insane. Like, who wants that shit? So I agree with you.
See, I only buy lottery when it gets like into the hundreds of millions of dollars. So my chances are even less of winning.
I mean, I don't hear about I don't know. I just guess I don't pay attention to the lottery shit. But I think I don't know how that whole win is or not. Money's great, money's not great. I've had money, I've had no money. I mean, at this point, it is about just your life, living, and the people you're with,
yeah,
right?
Exactly.
I don't know, unless you're getting divorced and have 45 children and you need money, like from the lottery.
I don't have 45. I have 3, so give me money anyway.
That's a lot. I can't. I have 2, and it feels like I have 20 because my house looks like a bomb it looks like I have an orphanage running around in here.
Yeah. Well, luckily, only one of them lives with me. The other 2 are from a previous relationship, so it's like not so there's only one involved in this divorce, but still, I still need money. Give me money.
You're like, it's only one in this divorce, but the other 10 divorce, yeah. No, I know you only have 2.
Yeah, well, it's like I say,
Stop getting married,
I'm the guy that, is like, oh, marriage 1, fantastic. Oh, divorce, no big deal. Marriage 2, I can do this. No, it didn't work out. Marriage 3, walks into a BDSM club and says, mistress, please may I have another, and gets smacked over and over and over again.
Yes.
That's marriage for me.
God.
I'm the guy that loves going to the kink club and just getting smacked around by a mistress. So I say, thank you, ma'am, may I have another. That's marriage.
You need to get it together with this. I mean, this was, the 3rd time's a charm? That's bullshit.
It is bullshit. It don't fucking work. It's a good thing I didn't get that tattooed on my ass like I was going to do.
Oh my God. Can't you just get a snake or something? I mean, that just represents transformation in some type of form.
I didn't get that, but now I think I should get something now. I don't even know.
What'd you get?
I know. We actually did get matching tattoos.
Oh my God. You are such a cliche, Derek. How did we not know each other sooner? I need to be your sister. But I would be, oh my God.
But it's actually not as bad as some people. So her and I were together for 13 years, and we did break up once before, and we got back together. And her and I's favorite Disney movie was Beauty and the Beast. Okay? And there's a line at the end of the movie when, after she leaves and comes back and he's dying on the fucking balcony, and he looks at her and goes, you came back. And she said, of course I came back. So I got Beast with you came back on my chest, and she got the mirror that says, of course I came back. So now we're separated and going through a divorce, and neither one of us is coming back. So I gotta look down at my chest and see Beast for the rest of my life going, she didn't come back.
I mean, I'm concerned. I mean,
I am too.
This is your 3rd marriage. I mean, it was 13 years is a long time, so I get it. That is a long time. But yes. I got my first tattoo this year.
Oh, I got my first one at 18. I have a full sleeve. I've got on my chest, my leg. I'm not even done yet.
Okay, that was my dream. But I am Jewish, and they threatened that I couldn't be buried with my family. So I was like, as much as I wanted to get tattoos, and I was always like, what can I get that will represent me forever and that won't spread out when I put on weight and look like fucking crocheted design on my body that used to be a butterfly. Like what is that? Right? Like what happened? But I can't. I got one this year because I was ready for it, and it took me a very long time to decide what it was. And then when I went into the tattoo guy, I had all these pictures, and I was so neurotic. And I was like, okay. And he's like, why didn't you get a tattoo sooner? And I was like, I hate my family. I don't care if I'm ever buried with them. I'm good now. I'm ready to go. So I had him. He kind of designed it on my body. Oh my God.
That's actually the sign of a good tattoo artist, though.
Yeah, he was pretty damn good. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie. Yeah, I gave him like a butterfly and a wolf head, and he's like, "This is so stupid. Get out of here." And I was like, "Well, I like this, and and he's like, "I can't with you. Like, you got it." He was like 50 years old. He'd been doing it forever, and he's like, "Calm down." That's all he kept saying to me. "Calm down." And then he just and I have a really pretty little butterfly back here. And it's kind of great until I put on some weight. Look, it's sweet.
So that's a nice butterfly.
Yeah, it's sweet, right?
Yeah.
And
It's very California blonde.
I know. And then I was asking for colors. Do you have colors on your body?
Yes.
And he said, "Don't do it. You're in the sun all the time. It'll fade. You're an idiot." I was like, "Okay." I mean, he was actually very aggressive, but I found it hot too. I get why you were married 3 times.
Yeah. Yeah, on my leg I have the movie Monsters Incorporated?
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah, I have a picture of Boo and Sully on my leg. So it's cheesy as hell, but it's actually for my 19-year-old daughter. Back when her mom and I broke up, fucking however many years ago it was, 17 years ago, her and I we had a really bad breakup, and she took her from me for the longest time. And that movie came out right around the same time. So the first time I ever got to see her was like the very end of the movie Monsters Incorporated, opening the door, and he goes, "Boo," and she goes, "Kitty." You know, that's how it felt. So she was always my little Boo. So I got that for her. And then I in my on my sleeve the Starry Night by fucking A. Who's the hell done that?
Oh my God. It's
Van Gogh. Starry Night by Van Gogh. I have that as my theme. So there's lots of blue streaks and purple streaks, but they're streaky. It looks like the Starry Night painting, but
I love
my own interpretation of it. So yeah. So I have lots of coloring.
You do.
But at the same time, I have one on here that's 10 years old. It's my Ohio State O that is still just as bright as it was the day I got it.
That's great.
Yeah. That's
Do you go out in front a lot?
I do, but I usually wear long sleeves. I'm a long sleeve guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that thing is just as bright.
I want a new tattoo. I'm putting out ideas. I said I want a new tattoo, something small, something sweet.
See, I interviewed a celebrity tattoo artist last Monday, and sometime this year, if they do it again this year or next year, him and I are still talking about it. They do a huge tattoo festival convention in Baltimore every year, and he wants me to come up to Baltimore because he'll be there. And he said my left arm, which is completely naked of tattoos, he said it's 100% his, and he wants to just go at it. And I said, have at it. Whatever you want to do is yours. It's a blank canvas.
Right. Oh my God. Okay, you're gonna do it.
Hell yeah, I am. I love tattoos.
I get it. I think there is an element of tattoos that are super sexy, and then I think there's an element that are super trashy.
Oh, I agree. I 100% agree.
Right.
But for me, getting something on that symbolizes, a moment, because all mine are symbolistic. They're not just, oh, that looks cool, I want it. All of them have meaning to me.
Yeah,
yes. So, but when I'm having a bipolar moment or I'm down and I get a tattoo, it's very, very therapeutic.
I'm interested. interesting.
Yeah, I mean, if you've ever talked to somebody who gets a lot of tattoos, or know somebody that's ever said I'm gonna go get a tattoo, a lot of people will use the phrase tattoo therapy. I'm gonna go get a little bit of tattoo therapy, and that's a very common phrase. And just just somebody that has always had a tattoo in their mind, and now they're gonna go get that tattoo because they're in that moment and they're in that mood, and the tattoo they know is gonna bring them clarity and therapy.
Oh my God. Okay, so we're just gonna mark up our body for therapy. What about going to a fucking therapist?
Yes, like BetterHelp, my sponsor. or you can just smoke some CBD from my other sponsor, Wildflower Hemp Co.
Oh, that's so good. That's so good. Yeah, see, I go to a therapist, or I go to an astrologer, or I do online tarot readings. And that's how I help myself.
See, I smoke a lot of CBD because marijuana is not legal in Virginia yet. So I smoke a lot of CBD.
Is that like a guy's? Is that like, I smoke CBD?
I do.
Right.
I have.
Yeah, just checking. We're in quotes, right?
No,
Yes.
it's legit CBD.
Oh, okay, cool. What does that do? Smell you out?
It does. It really, really does. The CBD, in my opinion, there's all the stuff that they're studying for the marijuana medical effects that they have. I think CBD, does the same thing on a lesser level. So
Right.
since I'm not like I'm not super anxious all the time. I'm not super bipolar and stuff like that. CBD works for me. But like my brother, on the other hand, has to have a medical card for marijuana because that's what helps him. CBD doesn't work for him, but marijuana does. So I think CBD is just as good as marijuana, depending on your level of pain and depression and anxiety.
Oh yeah, nothing worked for me.
Really?
So, yeah, like I had a little bit of a. It's funny. I say nervous breakdown, but really it was a breakthrough. But I had 2 years where I was super fucked up. It was funny because they tried to put me. I had a therapist. I've been in and out of therapy, but I had a therapist, a real serious, like 3 days a week, to try to help me get out of it. And she did. She totally helped me. But kind of at the end, I was still having anxiety, and she's like, "I think I'm gonna send you to a psychiatrist." And I went into the psychiatrist. I swear to God, I can't. And he's like, you have ADHD. I'm fucking 45 years old. He's like, do you want to medicate? I'm like, now? Like, now we're going to medicate? Half my life is fucking over. But now it's like, hey, of course I have fucking ADHD. It was an epiphany for me. Like, oh, that's the answer. I know why my whole life has been like this. Fucking idiot. But then he said, well, I'm going to put you on Lexapro.
That's what I'm on.
Okay. And I said, listen, I was a big drug user in my youth. And I haven't touched anything forever, and I did everything. And I said, I'm by the way, the worst drug user ever. Like, everything I took, I'd be like, why am I having this drug? Do this again. What's happening? Like, I did acid probably like 7 times, and I was like, the next one's gonna be better. And I'd be like, I'm not well. Like, I was like, what? Who does that? Like, who abuses? Okay, whatever. But like, I was the worst drug user. So he said, I'm going to put you on Lexapro. I said, put me on the lowest dose because I am super sensitive to anything that goes in my body, and I'm acutely aware of my body. And he's like looking at me, like, oh, yeah, sure. Okay, lady, ADHD over there. Like, I don't know, he was like all judgy on me. And I said, I'm not kidding. He gave me a baby's dose. First of all, what baby takes fucking Lexapro? But he's like, it's a baby dose. And I was like, okay, and he's like, and I said, well, when am I going to feel it? And he goes, you're going to start feeling it in a couple weeks. And I was like, okay, right. I was like, all right. And now I'm on the baby dose. That freaks me out that babies cry. How do you know they're having problems? Like, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, how do you know they need Lexapro? Anyways, I took it 3 days. 3 days. I'm driving on the freeway. The freeway starts to melt into the sky. The music starts screaming in my ears. And I'm like, I'm on fucking acid again. It's the worst trip of my life. I was like, what the fuck? So, needless to say, I got off Lexapro. And he's like, should we try something else? And I'm like, fuck no. And, yeah, no. And I literally was like, you got to get yourself better because you have no choice. Nothing's going to work.
Yeah, I take 20 milligrams of Lexapro a day. It's the highest.
Gee,
Yeah.
by the way, can you imagine the trip I would have on that?
You know what? I mean, it keeps me pretty grounded. If I miss a dose, I feel it the next day.
Oh, you do.
Oh my God, yes. The only effect that I really have from it, and this is very common of all, because there's two types of depression meds. One is called an SSRI, which
Yes.
does your serotonin levels, and then there's the non-SSRI, like Wellbutrin.
Yes.
The SSRIs are scientifically proven to have sexual side effects. That's the only one I have, so it works out great for me because I get to take a Viagra, and those things have a fucking kick to them.
Okay, so you're counteracting with Viagra.
Hell yeah, it fucking works.
You listen, as long as your head stays.
My head is fine. Both of them, they're fantastic.
Dual heads are working with
Yeah.
different drugs.
Yeah. But I also do take Wellbutrin as well. So I take Lexapro at night, and I take Wellbutrin in the morning. And I was taking Xanax for a long time, and then they took me off Xanax and put me on Klonopam. And I refused to take Klonopam, and that's when I started doing CBD.
Yeah. Okay, good. So look, you actually switched something natural.
Yeah.
So great.
Yeah, I even talked to my doctor about it, and because he didn't want me on Klonopam for very long. He had me on it for like 3 months. And he said, don't take it every day. Just take it when you're having really bad anxiety. And I didn't even have it for the full 3 months. I still have like 2 months worth, at the frickin', pharmacy to pick up.
You go broke, you can sell it. Okay.
Exactly. So I just switched over to CBD, and I told him, and he goes, that's cool. He goes, and as soon as you get, the medical stuff is available here, because it's still it's legal now, but we're still going through a bunch of processes. There's not even there's not even any dispensaries yet. He goes, once we get that taken care of, I'll get you a medical card, therefore you can have the good stuff. And I said, thanks, doc. So right now I'm doing CBD, and I'll eventually move to higher doses of THC. But let me tell you what, CBD and THC get a bad rap for a lot of different things, obviously, but that has honestly been a saving grace to me. And I will preach it to the day I die, because I'll tell you what, I mean, I was suicidal for the longest time. I attempted twice, and between all the different drugs that they had me on and doing this and that, I was a fucking guinea pig for a long time as someone who has bipolar disorder, anxiety, and PTSD. They were trying to find the right cocktail to keep me from fucking going insane, and unfortunately, when you're doing that, it actually makes you fucking more insane. The irony is crazy. But, doing my own research and talking to my doctor and my therapist and my, psychiatrist, all this other stuff, we eventually figured it out. But, again,
It's a crapshoot. Look, the guy gave me baby dose Lexapro, and in 3 days I was like high as a kite. So it is, I can see, and I just was like, I can't. And I mean, clearly, if I couldn't have I was at the end of my anxiety, so I actually thought it was strange that they would try. I was like, come on, let's get through this. But she was a little concerned because, it kicks up on you and you're in it. And by the way, I even went to my regular doctor when I was going through all this shit. And I remember, I swear to God, my experiences with doctors, I'm glad yours are good because I support whatever. In my mind, I'm like, people got to do what works for them.
yeah.
That is how the world needs to fucking work. Like, no one needs to be in anybody else's business. You know your body. You know what works for you. I know it works for me. But I went in when I first started having anxiety, and I went into my doctor's office, and I have white coat syndrome, so anytime I get it, I'm like, look at me already, I'm a spaz. So I'm like, okay, well, this was going, and I'm sick, and he's like this Hollywood doctor that deals with all the stars, and he's not my doctor, he was like my husband's doctor, and I was like, I don't know where to go, and I said, excuse me, and I go, I'm having all this anxiety, and I don't even know, and I've never had this before, and I've had this, but I've done it, and he was like, you need to get off the cocaine. And I was like, I don't do cocaine. Like, I haven't done cocaine in 20 some odd years, and it was meth, okay? It was like, I didn't like cocaine. Like, I like meth. I like the longer run here. But I asked him for Xanax, and he's like, I can't give you Xanax. And I was like, just give me one to try. Like, I just need to try and see if it'll help me. And he wouldn't give it to me. He was convinced. He's like, you're a Hollywood housewife. You're definitely doing, you all say you're not doing cocaine and Xanax. Like, he was literally, I was like, dude. And mind you, I'm sure I looked cracked out because I was like, okay, well, I'm fucked up and I kind of. So, yeah. I mean, my journey trying to get drugs legitimately was so unsuccessful than me doing drugs in my youth illegitimately. I mean, I could get any drug there was from like age 18 to 25. Actually, probably earlier. But I mean, it's so funny. And I like walk in, I'm like, I'm legitly fucked up. And he's like, yeah, no. So there you go. No one wanted, the universe came in and was like, we are going to make this bitch suffer.
Yeah, that's how I felt too at first. They put me on Zoloft at first, and Zoloft is what made me suicidal. That shit was horrible. Horrible.
Which some people love.
Yeah.
Some people love Zoloft.
But you know what's funny too? You know, you're sitting there saying you're 45 and going through it. My mom went through it when she was in her 50s, and that's when she got diagnosed. She only got diagnosed within the last 5 or 6 years.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and she's 63 now. And yeah, she'll be 64 this year. But yeah, she got diagnosed within the last 5 years or so. And now she's on the same meds that I take, and she feels great, but she's got ADHD, she's got, bipolar, anxiety, or the whole 9 yards, but she never knew it her whole entire life. She just thought she was fucking crazy.
Well, it's funny you say that because the first thing when I first walked into my therapist's office and I thought I was going, I'm going to tell you a little bit of the story about how I got there. But I walked in and I was like, okay, so I've researched it all. I am bipolar. I have PTSD. I mean, I basically brought out the list. Like they give you the list and I was like, I have everything on this list. And within an hour of sitting with her, she's like, no, actually you don't. Like, and I was like, treat me for something, please. But I did. I walked in like freaked out. I mean, it's true. My son got really sick. He has an autoimmune disorder, and he was sick really early on in his life. He's 20 now. And it was rare. No one knew what it was, and no one believed me that he had it. They all thought I had fucking Munchausen's by proxy. So I was going from doctor to doctor to doctor to doctor to try to figure out what it was. His brain, he'd get a virus, his brain would swell, and he would like lose cognitive function. And no one knew what it was. It was so crazy. It was, and he was misdiagnosed all over the place. And everyone was like, he's got this, which I'm sure you've experienced, right?
Yep.
Well, it's this, or it's this, or it's this, or somebody was like, he's schizophrenic. He was 5 years old. I was like, he was fine yesterday. Like, I can't. Anyways, I went on this crazy journey for like 10 years and literally just lost my shit. And by the time I got him up and running to some kind of capacity, I was so fucked up. My whole system, my nervous system just collapsed. And I had to rebuild myself.
Wow.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy.
That is kind of crazy. That sucks though. I mean, yeah. Being that guinea pig and having to, doctor to doctor to doctor is the worst feeling in the world. Because it's just like, somebody figure it out already. Holy fuck. I mean...
And you can't believe that, and the doctors don't work together.
They don't.
Like, no one works together. Kind of like our fucking government. Like why would we expect anything greater than that, right? Like, if we can't get it fucking together from the top down. But there's a common sense aspect. I know it's supposed to be funny, but it's like you're like I brought on this comedian and she just got really heavy. Like,
we can always. I love getting heavy. That's a joy of my show. It can go anywhere.
I mean, because I literally I am fucking dark or crazy, whatever. But I can't believe that they can't. I was like, how do you not know at this point in the juncture that the brain is connected to the stomach, is connected to the arm, is connected? Like, how did you people just get this memo? Like, aren't you doctors? Isn't it the study of medicine? Oh God, if there's doctors on here, they're gonna hate me. But but
yeah.
It's true. The fact that they wouldn't work together or talk, or they were like, I went to UCLA, which is one of our top, and went to a top immunologist, and I walked out of there, and he's old, so I figured he knew everything, right? This guy has seen everything. He's old. He's getting ready to retire. He's at UCLA. It's a teaching. He takes my son's blood. He's like, he's fine. I think he's allergic to cockroach poop. Now, I don't know how he might be allergic to cockroach poop, but we don't have that many cockroaches here. Like it's not New York. It's not fucking Hawaii. It's not Florida. It's not like I found one in the garage this summer. I'm not going to lie, but I called it a water bug cockroach. But we don't have a cockroach problem. So I was like, so where's the cockroach poop that so this is affecting his brain? Seriously? What's next? Okay, he's allergic to air? Like what the fuck? Jesus.
That's the weirdest diagnosis I've ever heard in my life. I mean, I'm sure it's real, and I'm sure people do suffer from it, but that's out of left field.
I mean, fucking A. That's like what's the disease from rat? There's the rat shit. You get it. There's the it's like desert fever or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's like if he said that, like we have a few rats in our. I mean, I gotta tell you though, this summer I had a couple dead animals, like a lot of dead animals in my backyard, and I'm not sure if it was my dog or someone was killing them in my backyard. I had dead possums, dead rats. I had a dead crow. I was like, what the fuck is happening? Animal Kingdom. Like there's a vortex in only my backyard and everything's dying. But like that was ridiculous, right? Cockroach, like the kid has his brain is swollen and you're saying he's allergic to cockroach. This is shit I ran into. But finally I went up to Northern California and dealt with Stanford and dealt with a group and they helped me and they were like, yeah, you're not crazy. Just so you know, thank God you did this or your son would have been probably fucked up forever.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Thank you after fucking 15 years of that shit.
Well, at least you're able to figure it out. I mean, that's sometimes that's the hardest part is just getting it. I mean, and sometimes, at a certain point, it doesn't really matter how bad the diagnosis is. Just finally hearing that it's okay. Now we know what it is. Thank God. It's such a relief sometimes.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, even though it's like, and sometimes it might not be curable, and sometimes it might be, I've heard people, come that had stage 4 cancer like that, and they couldn't figure it out for the longest time, and then like they're like, okay, thank you, finally, holy shit, okay, now I can at least understand what's going on with me, and I can, let's try to treat it as best we can. If I die, I die, but thank you for finally telling me and figuring it out, and sometimes that's the worst part.
Well, that's the nature, like, I guess it is. It's not even, I didn't even need a name because sometimes I feel like when we start labeling shit, we lock ourselves into that box of like, I'm this, right? But I needed somebody to be smart enough to go, I've done this and this and this. I've done these tests and this is what I conclude. I mean, at the end of the day, not to go too crazy, but when he ended up getting mono and I finally got him up north and got him tested with a panda specialist. He had so much shit going on in his body. She was like, your son must have the strongest constitution because I can't even believe he's walking. He had West Nile virus. He had staph in his brain. I was like, what? But like, how long was he living like that? Where no one was like doing any of I was like, oh God. So he's good now, except for now there's this stupid fucking COVID. And every time it's a virus that can set him off, and I'm like, but we don't know what's gonna happen. He could be supersonic now. We don't know. So we're like just in this abyss of, well, I don't want to rock the boat. You want to rock the boat? So he doesn't even really leave the house except for to work out.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a crazy fucking, last year was crazy. I mean, especially for people in our field, comedy and entertainment, period. And I don't mean just comedy. I mean entertainment, music, the whole 9 yards. It's just been crazy. I mean, I know you've been steady doing shows on Zoom. I've said my experience with it. It's weird, but I mean, how has your experience been with it this year?
Okay, first of all, when everything shut down. By the way, I was getting such a good rhythm in comedy. I was producing shows. I was getting more shows that I was. I mean, I was like right before shutdown. I was like, I was building up like serious momentum, and then we had shut down. And fine, whatever. I was like, okay, I got 2 months. I'm gonna party. I'm gonna run. I'm gonna work out. I'm gonna be like whatever. And I was fine with it. But within like probably 4 weeks. Zoom started to happen, right? Like Zoom comedy was slowly creeping in, and everyone was really, they have such, it's a mixed bag, right? There's so many comedians who are like, fuck it, I fucking hate it, I'm not gonna do it. And I was like, I'm 4 years into comedy, and I was like, listen, I'm gonna do it because I want to write every day, and I want to just work at talking and using my brain. Because I don't know how long we're going to be in this. It was like maybe April. And I was like, I don't know how long it's going to last, so fuck it.
Yeah.
And I just started kicking it in. And I mean, at one point I was just talking shit. Like everyone started giving their jokes. And I was like, do you understand your joke? Okay, I'm going to set it up. And then I'm going to punch. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to fall asleep. So I kind of created... I mean, I have a lot of energy anyways, but I started to just blow myself out with myself. I mean, I was so sick of myself on Zoom because I've been actually Zooming now for like 6 months straight. But like, I started dressing up. I started wearing wigs. I became a variety act. Like, I started talking in a marker. I'm like sitting in a throne. Like, I started making kind of making it fun for myself because I cannot sit and do like, okay, so yeah, COVID, crazy, right? Like I can't. So I actually love it as a different medium. I've also done some outdoor shows, but not a lot because I'm trying to keep my boy in the fucking bubble safe.
Yeah.
But I love, you know what? I don't hate it. I mean, I did take 2 weeks off. This is like the first thing I've done in the last 2 weeks because I was like, I'm so tired of looking at myself. I don't even look in the mirror anymore. Like I literally just I like put in it. Like I'm looking at myself now. Like, oh my God, I can't even look at like I can't. But I was tired of looking and listening to myself.
Yeah.
But I don't, you know what? It's just, I've been writing all the way through. I have this is my quarantine journal of jokes and shows. Do I have anything that I'm going to use after this? I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I've been writing a lot. I mean, I only did, because I'm still new. So, you know, the shows that I was able to get onto were, I was lucky to get onto, I got onto 3 of the Jimmy Shin shows, the Shindig shows.
Yeah. I know Jimmy.
So I did 3 of those with him. And, being somebody that's only been in the comedy business, hardcore for the last 2 years, I've mainly been doing open mics. So to have the opportunity to have, first Jimmy came on my show and then he offered me, a couple spots on the Shindig shows. And I was able to open for, Jamie Kennedy. I mean, I would have never gotten that opportunity over here, out of the blue like that. So, it was cool, to be able to do that. And then the other 2 that I was able to, open for bigger names too, is like, that's really fucking cool. I've had the opportunity to now do that. So that part of it was cool. But looking at yourself on Zoom, or even like for me, and I've told the story before, but I remember the first time I was doing it, and there was Jimmy kept the audience up there too, so we could see audience and ourselves. So I'm sitting there looking at this 80-year-old couple, and I know that I'm building up to a rape joke, and I'm like, oh God. I could see their faces. I'm like, do I do this joke or not? And I still went through it and they laughed. But, being up on stage most of the time, the lights in your eyes, you can't see the entire audience all the time. So that's usually not a worry. But that was like starting to become a worry. I'm like, oh shit. And I just went with it and it worked out great. But I was like, oh my God. But yeah, I get what you're saying.
I think that's also the great thing about Zoom is that, first of all, you're networking. I'm networking with people all over the country that I wouldn't have access to.
Yeah.
Normally, right? Like, I mean, I was supposed to be in Chicago this summer. doing shows, and it didn't happen. But the Chicago booker ended up starting to produce shows. So he started producing shows, and he's like, hey, you want to host my show? I was like, great. And then it just kind of went from there. And now I'm meeting comedians from all over, right? So it's not just our little pocket. It kind of, I mean, once we open up, and eventually we will open up, I feel like I've networked. Don't you feel like you've met so many new people that you just, there's comedians that I've done shows with that like, I was like, I think I know. And now we're like, oh, because you walk in, you do the live show, and then everybody's in their own fucking head of like, oh my God, my 7 minutes that, or my 5 minutes that.
Yeah.
And no one's like really there. And then you kind of do your thing, and it's so competitive, like weird shit. I'm not competitive with anyone else. I compete with myself solely. But like now we're like friends. Like after the Zoom shows, we talk. We have a little mental health check-in. It's like, hey, how we doing? I mean, I feel like the comedy community for me has been, because I live a kind of a double life. Like I have my mom friends from my kids' private school, and I have my bougie life, and then I have my comedy life, and I love them both. You know, I love all my friends. I have all walks of life, but like my comedy world kind of, it was my saving grace. My husband and I have been going through a lot of shit, and I'm not sure what's happening, if I'm getting divorced, if I'm getting married, I was leaving, I wasn't leaving. Like I've lived a lifetime in 9 months. Like I was like, wow, I thought my nervous breakdown was bad, but COVID takes the cake. Like, you know, it's so funny. I was like, wow, I got through that. I can get, woo, you know, and I know you know because you've been divorced 3 times.
Yeah. You want to hear something funny?
Yeah, tell me.
So, we have a mutual friend that was the very, very, very first interview I ever had on this show. So I went through a name change on this show back in April. So it started off as one show, and then 3 months later, in April, we changed the name of the show, and I got a new co-host and stuff like that. And the very first interview I ever had on the show was Eugenia. And I've been friends with her ever since. And she's actually the one who introduced me to Jimmy. And her and I had began talks of me possibly joining you guys in Chicago.
Wow, that's awesome.
So I was there was some talks about me joining you guys in Chicago. So you and I could have actually met in person sooner, but unfortunately that never happened. So,
but look, we wouldn't. Oddly enough, here we are now, right?
And we still got introduced because of her. Yeah.
Eugene, I'm gonna tell you, that girl is she is a gem of a human being, and I know you know that.
Yeah.
Out of all the people, I met her right at the beginning of comedy for me. I did a show at I met her at she's one of my food. I think that's why we get along, because we live very similar lives. Except for I'm not a fashion model, okay? Because I never will look like her at all. But and I'm good with that. We met at a function for a Disney function, and I'd never met her and her husband, my husband. We were all sitting at a table together. We were put together through a mutual friend, not comedy. And I said, my first show was at Flappers, and I said, oh, my girlfriend goes, Jessica's a comedian. And Eugenia goes, I am a comedian. And I was like, really? Like, I was like, you are? Because in my mind, right, I was like expecting, she's like, yes, I'm a comedian. And I was just like, oh my God. She came to my show. She didn't even know me. She met me that night. She got super wasted, fell off her chair. We loved each other. I couldn't understand half the shit she was saying. We didn't care. We both got drunk. My show was like the next night. She came to my show, and she introduced me to so many people in LA. She got me into the Comedy Store. I couldn't believe, like, the doors couldn't have opened any easier from being friends with her. She's been my friend now. We did the Nobodies together, which I'm finishing editing. They're all going to kill me, which is a reality comedy show about 5 women. And yeah, she's amazing. I can't say anything but good things about her ever.
She's
ever,
amazing.
Ever.
Yeah. I mean, I've met, Jesus, the last year of doing this show, I've met so many people. And I've met a lot of shady people. And a lot of just, they are who they are. They'll tell you straight up who they are. There's nothing hidden about them. But then I've met just some super genuine people, and Eugenia's at the top of that list. I mean, she's amazing. I will never not, sing her praises. I mean, when you're able to, and I consider myself grateful because I'm still, I'm a nobody. I mean, I'm building myself up. I mean, I've started to hit, about 900 million downloads a month on my show, but I'm still a nobody. I mean, it's nothing. 50,000 people a day, and it's usually the same 50,000 people that download my show. But hey, it still counts as stats. So, but it's one of those things where I consider myself grateful. So, but to be able to text somebody on that level on New Year's Day, Happy New Year to you and your family, and they immediately get a response was the greatest feeling in the world. But I'll tell you what, that was awesome that you did that on Friday. But what was even more awesome was back in October, when I texted her, hey, I'm putting together this Toys for Tots virtual show, and I need some help. And she goes, I got you. How many comedians you want? And next thing I know, boom, 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 boom. And, so first of all, thank you so much for being a part of that. We ended up not hitting our goal of 5,000. We only ended up getting $4,500. But I'll tell you what, to hit $4,500 on my first charity event, and to be able to produce the people that I was able to produce and put that together the way I did, I was so happy the way it came together. And it was honestly one of the greatest moments of my life. I mean, that 7 hours that I had on that show that night was just absolutely heartwarming. It was so amazing because it went off without a fucking hitch. Everybody was funny as shit. The bands that submitted, they all got together and said, hey, we're going to go ahead, and they put together these great fucking shows. I mean, some were in the basement, some were at a fucking, filming facility, but they multi-camera, great editing, the whole 9 yards. They did it specifically for this event for free. And it's just like, wow, and it was all because of her. And I can't, it just worked out so well.
She is, I know, listen, I can't, there's not, first of all, I like most people. To a fault, okay? Because some of them can be real assholes, and I'm still like, but I find the good in you. I don't know why, but yeah, Eugenia has, from the day we met, she's a true producer. She's a fucking great actress. I cannot wait for us, and it's sitting in my hands right now to edit this fucking Nobody's show and get it out. And I can only say great things. I hope she's listening to this. I'm sure she's not, but I will.
She listens occasionally.
There are not many people on this planet that I can honestly say are put here for goodness. And the best is that you look at her and you wouldn't know. You wouldn't be able to tell. And she's fucking goodness through and through.
She really is. She really, really is.
And I always say the universe, because I really bank on the universe takes care of me in so many ways. And God, they gave me Eugenia, and she rides me because I can be like, I have my ups and downs, and I'm like, I can't move. And this year's like, it's the COVID is the COVID. The COVID hasn't fucked me up as much as my relationships in my life. Mm-hmm. And right, like the COVID's the COVID. I feel very blessed because I have a house and I have food on the table. My kids are healthy and fine. But the year's just been kind of crazy. And so she would call me and be like, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Like, she had me on Model Moms. I'm like, I can't wait till that episode comes out. I'm dancing all over. I mean, I'm like, no one is going to believe that this bitch is a model, okay? Like, they're going to believe that she thinks she's a model is what's happening. having COVID brain. But yeah, she's a good girl. I love her, and I've met some great people. But it's true. Comedy's funny.
It
No,
is.
it's all funny. Life is funny. The world is funny. I met you. I loved Toys for Tots. I loved what you did. I loved that night.
It was fantastic.
It was fantastic.
It was so much fun. Yeah, I mean, and then I've like it's just weird, and I've also got to meet Steve Hofstetter a few weeks ago. I had him on my show. It was fantastic, and it was just a straight conversation. Nothing happened from it, but it was cool to be able to talk to him about stuff. He's a genuine guy too. So that was really cool. But of all the comedians I've met this year and all the people I've met this year, Eugenia's at the top of that list. And then people like you and some of these other just amazing people that I've met. I cannot be more thankful. And I mean, COVID screwed my family, to be honest with you, and I'm a big reason for that. Because I lost my job in July, and things were finally starting to pick up with this, and then I was doing the Zoom shows and stuff like that. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna just force it. I'm gonna make this happen for me. And my wife just eventually got fed up with it because I wasn't trying to get a day job. I was just focusing strictly on this, and then she left 2 weeks ago. And now, now I'm like, I just scored some major fucking deals and things are happening now. It's like, bitch, you couldn't have waited 2 weeks.
The other thing, I don't know your journey. Like, I don't know living with you personally, if it's absolutely torturous or if it's not, right? Because I'm not there. Like, I can hear your story, but we know that there's life.
Always
is
more.
life.
Yeah.
But there is something of following your dreams and being as fucked as you were. The beautiful thing is, look where you're going.
Yeah.
And there is a saying like, the universe will take away what's not supposed to be in your life, and then something better will come along. And sometimes it's so fucking hard to, it's like, you're like, this is bullshit. This is a lie. You don't know. I do that all the time. I fight with the universe consistently. Because for some reason I know better. Like, the mere fucking human being crazy lady. But look at what it just sent you in a new direction. And I know it's hard and it sucks because you're going, and listen, I know it's hard and it sucks.
Yeah, it does.
I get it. But it's just, it forces us, sometimes tragedy forces us to redefine. And we can if we keep, and you're very grateful.
Yep.
And I'm very grateful. And I think that also, it's out there. That generates it.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And, I mean, it's one of those, it's weird how it all kind of came together. I mean, because since she left, it's I've been down in the dumps, obviously. But, some of the things that have happened now, it's just like, oh, holy shit, this is really going to happen. Things are, I was able to find some huge deals, and I got some huge major acts coming on here soon that I'm just waiting on dates on. And
I'm sorry, I don't think anyone's going to be bigger than I am.
No, you're the epitome of top for me.
Right, like let's just keep that in line. Let's not forget when you get so big that you don't forget the fucking little people.
Well, you know what? And I'll be honest with you. So, one of the big things about you that I just absolutely adore, and this is the nerd Derek talking, because if you could see what is in this room right now that I am surrounded by.
You're all fucking nerds, all of you.
I am looking at about 500 different pieces of collectibles and artwork and, things of that nature all over my walls that just scream Marvel. And to be able to talk to somebody that is now forever immortalized in those roles that you played, in the 4 movies that you were in, just... I want to bow down to you and suck your toes.
Let me just clarify. I have been a glorified extra in all of them, okay?
Doesn't matter. I don't care if you were a background character in 3 of them or 1 of them. You were still part of four of the biggest, movies, in part of four of the, the largest franchise of all time. I mean, that's an honor in itself. Doesn't matter if you're an extra or a stunt person or just somebody who happened to walk by and get 2 seconds of camera time. It doesn't matter. That's a huge honor.
Out of every, actually, that's not true. I worked quite a bit, but I do, for whatever reason, end up on the editing floor more than not. Okay, on every fucking movie I do, but I am coming out in not a Marvel film, in a movie called Aftermath. It should be coming out shortly. And I didn't end up on the editing floor. I actually made it in. I mean, I had a great line in Ant-Man Wasp on the boat, where he comes out of the water in San Francisco, ginormous. And I'm like, of course, it's so me. I was like, oh, he's so big. Like a anyone know. And my husband's like, I think I was wearing a different turquoise. And he's like, something about turquoise. And I was just like, but he's so big. Yeah, that got cut out. I was like, that's comedy right there. That's comedy. Jesus Christ. But yeah, no, listen, I feel very fortunate. It is nepotism that gets me those jobs. That's how it works. Not all my jobs, all my commercials and shit that are airing, those are me. And not all my jobs happen, but the Marvel ones, my other person that I live with that I'm not going to mention at this point is the one who's definitely helped me. Not that I haven't fucking earned them. Okay. I did get beat up and thrown around and shotguns, and I got to be a cop, and that was great, actually. I got to run through fire in the Avengers, the first Avengers. Mm-hmm. I'm not a professional stunt person by any means, and I feel very privileged to work with any of them. I have a lot of friends that are, but I know you're like a Marvel geek, but I want to go back to this just because I haven't talked about this ever. My first one of my girlfriends is a stunt woman, and we were trying to get my SAG card. This was in the before like 25 years ago. Okay, so we were like trying to get my SAG card, maybe even 30 years ago. And she goes, I have a job for you. You can do stunts. And she's like, it's not a big deal. It's for Con Air. Remember Con Air? Yeah. She's like, it's for Con Air, and you're just going to have to jump, okay? And I was like, great. And at that point, you got your SAG waivers. I think you still do. I don't know. But I was like, great. So I go in, and she's not with me. So I don't know any of the stunt people, but she sends me there. No one takes care of me. No one gives a shit. And they're like, okay, so you got to jump on this mat, because it's when the plane comes down on the end, it's like, and all the people are like, ah, and they're jumping out of the way. And by the way, it looks just like the Zoom. Ah! If you ever watch it again, it looks like we're on Zoom, just through. They had me jump on a mat. I didn't know how to fall. I didn't have pads. I didn't have anything. I wouldn't know. I don't know who the fucking stunt coordinator was on there, but they didn't give a shit about me. I must have come off and been like, I totally got this covered. I'm like 23, and I just like know it. I'm an actress. I'm like a dramatic actress, so I can get out. I don't know what I was doing. I couldn't move for 2 fucking weeks. Okay, I had jumped on my face. I jumped flat on my arm. That was all to get. I tortured myself to get a SAG card. So then I went to Into the Blue and got another SAG card and got wasted. I mean, I was a shit show, but it was good times. And those are the days you could do that, I guess. Or you probably still do. So yeah. Yes, I know. I don't know. People always say, oh, you don't talk about your stuff. And I'm like, but now that I know you're a Marvel fan, I'm going to find some Marvel shit in my house and send it to you.
Fantastic. Yeah.
I know. We have Marvel shit. Do I have Marvel shit all over my walls, all the posters, everything, but I don't think I have. I think I took it down. Yeah, I've got Civil War. I've got all of the fucking stuff in here.
Yeah,
So
I've been reading the comic books since 1988. So I've been literally reading comics now for 30 years.
do you
31
know
years.
Dazzler? Do you know Dazzler?
Uh-uh.
Oh, really? All you comic geeks didn't give a shit about Dazzler. She was a dancing superhero, okay?
Yeah, I read that twice.
Look her up. She's actually super cool. I don't know. I want to play Dazzler. She was like she had like some special power, like with her mind. I read Dazzler. So I was like you. Okay, I was like you.
Yeah.
Go on.
But no, I've been reading the books now for, like I said, 31 years. I picked up my first book when I was 7 years old, and I haven't been able to put them down since. I mean, I am just enthralled with everything Marvel. I hate the DC comics, so I don't care about that at all. But I am like, I love everything Stan Lee and Marvel. I mean, for the last 11, 12 years since, the first Iron Man came out, it's just, watching my childhood come to life. I mean, I can go back to 2001, 2002 when Tobey Maguire was doing Spider-Man, and it was similar. It was, but the whole multiverse idea, multiple comics and multiple things coming together to build this whole universe was a much different thing than what Spider-Man did. And then to see it all culminate in 2019 with Endgame the way it did, and just and now it's been a year and a half since Spider-Man Homecoming. No, I'm sorry, from Far From Home. So I'm like anxiously awaiting the next 11 days till the next Marvel stuff comes out on January 15th.
Yeah, they were waiting. They pushed the release for some of them because of COVID.
Well, so Black Widow was supposed to come out in May of last year, and then she got moved to November, and now she's been moved to May again. However, then it was the WandaVision television show was supposed to come out in like November as well, and then they pushed that to January. And before that, it was supposed to be the Falcon and Winter Soldier television show, which got pushed to March now. So it's just like everything's a little bit fucked up. But because of all that, as Marvel fans this year, we get 9 releases this year. 5 TV shows and 4 movies. It's going to be sensory overload that I'm so anxiously waiting for. I cannot wait.
Now you're waiting for Marvel, and I'm waiting for season 4 of Yellowstone. Okay, that's where we're at. Okay, like I'm going to Montana with the cowboys and the like crazy shit that's happening in the series. Who's gonna kill who? Who's gonna get beaten up? Who's gonna die? And you're like, I can't wait for Black Widow. Like that is where I mean, literally, like I'm like watching Yellowstone and going, I want to roll on that. She could be my sister. Like I could be her sister. I could be the long lost sister that no one knows. Like, there you go.
Yeah, I'm actually in the process of rewatching all the movies right now, getting ready for the beginning of.
Everybody's because what else are you gonna do? Yeah. Like I've watched it all. What was your favorite? Here's a question for you, even though you're the interviewer. What's your favorite show that you watched in the quarantine this year?
Ooh, my favorite show that I've watched so far in quarantine. It would have to be It's The Mandalorian season 2 was fantastic. So Mandalorian was probably number 1, and then before that, The Boys season 2 was fantastic.
The Boys?
Yes, it's an Amazon show. So The Boys is another comic book TV show, but it's based off of a graphic novel of stuff. And The Boys imagine a world where the Avengers are real, okay? But aside from that, they're also celebrities. So imagine our world where there's movies.
Start watching this.
So imagine a world where our world and the superhero world collide, to where there's still movies, there's still comic books, but they're about real life people who do this kind of stuff, and they have egos. They're supposed to be superheroes, but some of them are just straight up assholes and
Yes.
molesters and the whole 9 yards.
Guys, I know. I think I've started.
It's
Yes.
so fucking good, and
Okay.
it's amazing.
I might go back to it because I'm really desperate for content right now.
Season 1 was great. Season 2 was even better, and it sets up for a fantastic season 3. So I cannot wait for that to come out this year. But The Boys and The Mandalorian were really good. However, this past Friday, Netflix released the new season of the Karate Kid remake, Cobra Kai.
Oh my God, you guys with this Cobra Kai, I can't.
It was so good. I watched it all day Friday. I from start to finish, it was so fantastic.
Okay, I'm gonna watch this because I am like, it is proven that our brains are shrinking in this fucking COVID. And when I was speaking to my girl Terry, who you had on your show. She was here today.
Yep.
And I said, I mean, I can't think of regular words anymore. Like I was like, you know that word, that what the you right, you know. And she's like, oh my God, Jessica, you're a wreck. I'm like, yes. I am wondering if our brains are shrinking. I'm gonna watch this Cobra Kai. Everyone's talking about it, but I'm like concerned that something's happening with our intelligence level.
I'll tell you what's great about it. It's so nostalgic.
Is that why?
It really is. But I'll tell you what, they throw a lot of nostalgia at you in the first season.
Okay.
And then they kind of up it a little bit in the second season. And then the third season is not as nostalgic because they're finally kind of coming into their own with this TV show. But the nostalgia level is just there. And, I felt like watching that first season a couple years back when it first came out. It was on YouTube at the time. I felt like I was 5 years old again watching the first Karate Kid. It was just that good. And then
Ralph Macchio's in it.
Ralph Macchio's in it. William Zabka's in it. All the original cast is in it.
Of course, they're like, yeah.
With the exception of Pat Morita.
They're like, we've rekindled. We can now make some money and be okay. We're not gonna go totally broke and lose everything.
Yeah, with the exception of Pat Morita, who's obviously passed away, back in 2012 or whatever it was. But they reference him a lot. His picture is up in Daniel's house, and you see him all the time. And whenever he's having a bad moment, he goes and talks to that picture and says, "I'm failing you. I need balance." And it's very good.
It's like the dead Yoda.
It kind of is. Mr. Miyagi or Pat Morita is kind of like a dead Yoda in the show, and they do show a lot of clips of him and him and Ralph Macchio together from the original movies. It's very well done. It could have been a cheese fest. Let me tell you what, it could have been cheesy as all fuck, but it's not.
People love it. People are like raving about it.
It was so good. It was one of those hidden gems back when it was on YouTube Red or whatever it was called back in the day. And then Netflix bought it last year, and they put both seasons on, and then they just released season 3, and now people are like going apeshit for it because it was one of those things that you didn't know about it unless you were a YouTube person, and now all of a sudden now Netflix has just exploded it. They're already in production for season 4. Season 4 is supposed to come out later this year, and it's just like people are just jumping at the bit for it. It's so good.
Doesn't anyone miss romantic comedies? That's all I want to know. Like,
going through a divorce, my whole life is a romantic comedy, so I don't need to watch that on TV.
Sounds like a romantic horror film. Like fucking Chucky is going on. It's like Halloween. We don't know what.
Yeah, my life is like Bride of Chucky right now. That's kind of what it feels like. My ex-wife, definitely reminds me of Jennifer Tilly, so that works. She's not watching right now. No, she's not watching. Okay, good.
He hates you. It's over. No, I'm just kidding. It's so crazy.
It is, but it is what it is.
Yeah, what are we gonna do when we get out? Like, are we ever gonna get out? You think? What do you think is gonna happen? You think we're gonna hybrid ourselves for the next year?
I don't know. I know. So I've been kind of out of the comedy game for a while, and I've really kind of put my focus on independent bands and artists is what I've been focusing on the last few months. So I haven't really talked much comedy or done anything like that. So I don't really know as far as what that's going to go. But what I can tell you is this. On the same level as comedy, obviously music and theater and stuff like that. And there's all the bands that I've been talking to, even some of the national big acts that I've been talking to that I've been in the process of getting booked on the show. Nobody's really doing much about it. They're not planning on anything until 2022.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing. They're wary of the vaccine, but at the same time, it's not even so much wary of the vaccine. Now there's different variations of the fucking COVID that's coming out, and this and that.
There has been. You know what the problem is? The news cannot fucking deliver facts.
We don't know. Yeah, exactly. That's the biggest problem.
We have the facts. We know the facts. They say shit too soon. No one's claiming anything. Everyone's claiming some weird. We're living in some fucking abyss.
It really is.
It's like, own your shit. You
Yeah.
fuck up, own it. You know what it is, tell us. You want to get the vaccine out? Put it in fucking ice cream trucks and send it through. Like,
Yeah.
it's like I can't. I'm laughing, and everyone's like, "Oh, the inauguration and everything." And I'm like, "Okay, we just need to get one thing, get to the next thing."
Well, that's the thing. I think, and I've been saying this from the get-go. The fact that this happened during an election year where everyone's sitting there pointing fingers is the reason why nothing's gotten done. Because they're too busy worrying about, oh, the red's right, no, the blue's right, no, the red's right, no, and nobody can get a fucking along. They're too busy worrying about, okay, now how are we going to go ahead and overthrow the election now? And they're not focusing on the people. And I think that's one of the biggest problems. And like with these bands, they're sitting there saying, well, we can't get the information correct. So we're not going to put ourselves or our fans at risk. And we're just going to say, fuck it. Now, there's a bunch of bands that have booked tours in Europe because apparently they have it all figured out over there. But here they don't.
We'll see. We'll see how it works because right now Europe, France is closed. Everything's closed over there too.
So like the earliest one I've seen so far as Europe festivals and tours and stuff like that goes, as far as music goes, the first one I saw was in Spain in June.
Yeah.
So if that one goes,
open up everywhere a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's a shit show, and it's unfortunately, our government really never cared about the people.
They never have.
To be honest, it's that they want the rich are the rich, the poor, and everybody else is just in here floundering around. So we're gonna have to start fighting. We're gonna have to create a little bit of a revolution, I think, and start sticking up for ourselves.
I think this year should have been a wake-up call for a lot of different people as far as that goes, because this year has proven one thing: all they care about is what's good for their party, not what's good for their people.
No.
And that goes for both red and blue, so yeah, and it's bad.
It's politics. It's politics.
It is.
And it's still, I don't know if it'll ever change, but it's so unfortunate. I will say there have been some great things this year. I actually think the Black Lives Matter movement coming through was very important this year. And it was so funny because it was so controversial in all the conversations that I was having with other people. And they're like, it's not just, and I was like, it's not just black. Like, this is an umbrella, you idiots. This is like, come on, like, get with the program.
Yeah.
Like this is just, we need this so we can go forward. We need to start fucking opening our eyes to what's really happening.
Yeah.
But then again, I met somebody, it's so funny that I'm bringing this up. I met a lady the other day and she was like, we're all being chipped. And she's like, and I'm like, girl, this could all be true. Like, I don't know. But at this point, I'm not having babies, so I don't care. Like
I was on TikTok today, and one of the new TikTok trends is tell me you're not afraid of the vaccine without telling me that you're afraid of the vaccine. And this guy with cerebral palsy duetted it and said, well, I can't get any more disabled. So he's like, whatever, I'll take it.
There is that aspect, but I think that I don't know. I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens and how the vaccine. I mean, I have tons of friends that are like, I'm going to take it. I have tons of friends that are like, I'm not going to take it, and I don't know really how the fuck I feel about these lunatics doing everything, right? Like, I'm like, I don't know. It could all be fucking true. Like, everything could be true. Like, I'm like, Do we know?
We don't.
Like, they've got us, they fucking gaslit us so well
They did.
that it makes, God, this word, it's like, it's just been so prevalent in the last year with me. But they really have. Like, this is so, I'm like, are we coming? Are we going? Is it real? Is it not real? Like, oh, are we really sick? Is California really, because we're on like serious lockdown. I'm like, so are we just positive? Or are we all dying? Like, what's happening? And then Terry was saying, I stopped watching the news. Sometimes I just can't. So I have to go in and out. And she said they said on the news, every 6 seconds, someone in California gets COVID. And I was like, okay, like what? Then we should just all go out. Like, if this is the way it's happening and we're all going to go down, let us free. Florida's running around wild as fuck.
Yeah, and their numbers are still going up too.
Okay, but are there our numbers are going up whether we're on shutdown or lockdown or not?
Yeah,
I mean, we have a lot of people here.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I'm on total lockdown. What am I saying? I'm like talking shit.
Yeah, but
Like, I haven't left the house in 8 months.
yeah, but we're getting cabin fever. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, so we're at this point, we're just trying to find a way to get the fuck out and get back to somewhat normal. I mean, it's just like I miss the days of going to a brewery and seeing somebody, just this local guy playing an acoustic guitar in the background. I miss the days of going to concerts. In 2019, I went to 10 different concerts. I paid for 10 different concerts. Last year, I went to none. I
went to Mardi Gras last year. That was my last hurrah.
Yeah, I mean, it was just I'm just begging for a chance to get out there, and I want to start. I want to come to California. I want to, I want to try to, get a spot on, in one of those, on one of the strips, in one of the shows. I want to try to get that. I want to, try my hand at acting. A lot of people have said, hey, I want to put you in this and do this with you, but I can't do any of it. There's lots of things I want to try now that I'm independent and, doing these things. It's like, you know what? It's all, I want to try it. Let me fucking, people want to do it. Let's fucking do it. And let me fail. Jesus Christ. I mean, I know how to do stunts. I know how to do comedy. I know how to do acting. I know how to do it all. So I want to try. I just want to try, but I can't do any of it. I want to do nothing else right now than drive to DC and go do an open mic, but there's no open mics, and it's just like I can't do anything other.
There's no underground stuff going on. No.
Not that I've been able to find.
I don't want to be inside. Here's the other thing. I won't go inside. I just won't go inside right now.
Yeah.
I'm not into it. It's winter time. It's like flu season. Like,
the only place I am going, and I'm doing this for a reason. My best friend works in the service industry. She's a manager at a restaurant. But she manages 4 days a week and serves 2 days a week. And the only industry that's open that's taking the biggest hit is the service industry. People aren't going to restaurants, so I'm trying to visit as many restaurants as I can. And I'm being cautious. Yes, our restaurants are open. Now they're open every other table. You have to wear your mask in and at your table up until the point where your food and drink come. And then once you're done eating and drinking, you have to put your mask back on. The servers have to stay 6 feet away. But the thing about it is, like, I went today to just to kind of get away and do some work at a restaurant. I went to TGI Fridays. Nothing special, but I was in there at 11:30, 11:45, almost noon today. And I was the only person in that place. Yeah. And I felt bad for that bartender because the bartender had, all these tables around the bar plus the bar, and I was the only one in there. And I'm like, fuck, so I tipped him really well, but I'm like, this sucks and he was talking about how much it sucks, it's just one of those things that's, so I'm trying to do that as often as I can.
And the fact that our government can't fucking pay for people to have money, this is killing me. This is like, we're a mess. We're going to have to uprise, and we're going to need artists to do it, actually.
Yeah, I think artists are the ones that, entertainers in general, I think they're the ones that are going to have to do it. And, there's already been some charity events for, like, I think it was back in November, October, they did a Save Our Stage charity event. Miley Cyrus is a part of it. And that worked out really well. But, you know, not many people are speaking out. You know, I mean, the only other thing I can think of.
Nobody knows. Everyone's sitting in. We're all sitting in the. Again, we're being gassed. Like we don't know what's happening. Like, is this?
Yeah.
Is it this? Even though we know that this is real now. And then the vaccine, of course, gets announced, and everyone's like, the vaccine is coming out, and now they're saying that some of the vaccine is going to go bad because they don't know how to distribute it. And I'm like, come on, people. Like, we've got everything here. You got Ford building fucking ventilators that we're sending to other countries.
Yeah.
And yet we don't know how to distribute the vaccine. Like, I don't get it. That's why I said, get a fucking ice cream truck for the areas and start driving down. I'm just like, it's got a freezer. You got the vaccine. We do it with like med trucks all over. Just like when I'm in New Orleans, I got a truck that shows up and shoots when you're fucked up and gets you back going.
Yeah.
So like, come on.
Yeah. I mean, we are, 9 months in. We're almost 10 months in 11 days. March 15th will be 10 months from now. And then, we're almost a year into this.
Yeah.
And to still be talking about it the way we're talking about it, and to still be fighting it the way we're fighting it. I mean, we're supposed to be this fucking world powerhouse, and, we can't even figure out who the fuck our president is. And it's
we're number one because we named ourselves number one.
Yeah.
I don't know how we're number one. Like, who made us? Anyways, it's listen, we're very lucky. We're all for most part, but now we're gonna have to go out there and
we do.
I mean, for Christmas I was, handing out blankets and food. It's breaking my heart. And oh God, I know this just went down another downturn. Jared, let's come back. Let's go back.
No, but you're right, because I would give nothing more in this world than to be able to in March, when or May, whatever it is, to go see Black Widow in the movie theater.
Yeah.
That is what I would love to be able to do. Is it going to happen? I don't know. I mean, maybe. I'm hoping so. But at the same time, it's like I want to go see a fucking concert. I want to go see 4 or 5 bands get up on stage and go hang out with all my fucking crazy ass metalhead friends and just enjoy a fucking good show. I mean, there's so much I want to do this year. I want to be able to go tell jokes on stage. I want to come out to California and, meet you and hang out with Eugenia and go tell jokes and whatever. I want to be able to do all these things that I can't.
It's gonna happen. There is a light at the end of this tunnel. I just don't know how far the fucking tunnel goes. Okay.
Exactly.
There's a light. There is a light. It's just where it goes.
Yeah.
Listen, I know. I feel it's funny with the holidays. I have kids. You have kids, so it always makes the holidays better. Actually, having children, to be quite honest, because that's what you're focusing on. Mm-hmm. But now I'm like, normally in January, we're like, okay. We're all geared up and ready to go. And I'm like, what am I gearing up for? But I actually am, oddly enough. And so I'll have my moments of like, oh shit. And then I'm like, Jessica, you got to get right back to work, baby. You got to get right back to work. And so what I'm doing is things that I can. I'm reading more. I'm reading more about what I want, where I need to be, I'm doing more self-reflection, self-work. I'm working on my soul right now because I feel like that's what I can work on. I'm writing more, and I'm working on a book. I'm focused. So I'm doing shit that's like, I was telling Jared today, I go, I'm doing everything I can inside the house. And I run. I'm fortunate. I don't have snow. We live in California. I run the mountains. I run the beach. So like we have everything really at our disposal. So I'm doing those things to try to keep my head together.
Yeah.
But I did sprain my ankle, so now I can't work out right now, and I'm really pissed off about that. But
Yeah, and that's kind of why I've been doing what I've been doing as far as like the last few months, just dealing in independent musical acts, because they're the ones that this past year, with the exception of maybe Taylor Swift and Miley Cyrus, nobody else put out much. None of the national acts put out music, but all these indie acts that are signed to indie labels with indie PR people have been busting their ass. So I've dedicated my last 3 months, and I'm going to continue to dedicate it, with the exception of some of these bigger acts that I got coming on, to these indie artists, because they're the ones out there busting their ass, and they're there for the people right now. Some of my favorite bands have said, "Oh, we're taking our time making this new record because we can't tour anyway, so we're just gonna hold off on it." But these other guys are like, "You know what? You're not putting out music right now, so I'm gonna go ahead and do it. I'm gonna go ahead and do it because I'm gonna try to make my name while you're sitting at home doing nothing." So, that's what I've been doing. I'm like, you know what? I've got the platform now to do it. I'm gonna start trying to build some people's up. So that's kind of what I've been focused on, and that right there has just been amazing. Because
see, that's what I'm saying. There's gifts in all of this,
Yeah.
though. There's gifts. We just have to see the gifts.
Yeah.
We have to understand that they're gifts. They just are. I mean, there is a beauty. I'm doing more comedy. I'm doing more podcasts. I'm starting hopefully something. I'm not gonna say it. So there's a lot actually that I'm doing. I've shot commercials. I mean, there are I have worked in this pandemic, oddly enough. I don't know how it's so
that's one thing I definitely need to do the more of, because I haven't done much of it lately. I need to start doing more comedy. So I need to start, reaching back out to people and start booking some Zoom shows, because I have not done enough of those lately.
Oh, I'll book you on our show, but Mark's fucking 3 months out, but I'll put you on our show. Our Monday show, it's a riot. I'm insane, which when I do comedy, it's a fun show every other Monday night. So it's always for a good cause. Actually, it's all donation.
Yes.
So everything we do is for a donation. So it's good.
So
but there is a light, guys. There's a light. There's a light. And it's not my 45 ring lights taking off the years of my life on my face and all my what's lines. Like crazy here tonight. But there is a light to this, so.
Yeah, that is definitely one thing that I can say, I've gotten used to over the last year, is bright light shining into my eyes.
I've got 2 ring lights in 2 different angles, because I got a big one and then I was like, this is out of control. And then I got a little one. I was like, that's not enough light.
Oh,
and so I have both.
I have LED lights in my regular, in my regular sockets, and then I have my ring light, and then I have 2 lights underneath my computer, because I have my computer up on a stand, and then I have a light over here to the left of me that illuminates my green screen. I have all these lights at me. It's so fucking bright in here. People walk in and go, ah. so that's the one that I've gotten used to, looking at light. So finding the light in things has gotten easier. So hopefully you're right.
That's also the gift, because they say that when you take a picture, if you can't see the camera, you can't see the light, you're not in the picture. So
exactly.
I
can see my cameras. We're good. I got one here. One there.
That's symbolic on a lot of levels, that we're all surrounded by light on Zoom, isn't it?
Yes, it really is.
Spiritual it's a vortex, some vortex tomorrow. That's another thing I think is interesting. I've never, I did an Instagram post. I'm like, never in my life. It's like the highlight is winter solstice. We're going to maybe be hit by a meteor. There's a new moon. There's a tiger moon. I mean, I'm like, every month, even the news is like, did you see the eclipse? Did you see the solar? We haven't had this in the moon, the Christmas star of 800. I'm like, Jesus Christ, the locusts. What else do we have? The killer hornets.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, though. One thing that made my day was, this year Christmas kind of sucked for me, because the day after the 26th was the day my wife moved out. Yeah. So Christmas Day was a down day for me. I did not have a good day. We tried our best, we celebrated with our daughter. We had a nice dinner together as a family, whatever else. But I knew 24 hours later that they were leaving. But for the first time since I've lived in Virginia, so it's been now 5 years. This is our 5th Christmas here. We finally had a white Christmas. So, and it didn't snow for long, but it did snow. And so that right there was enough to make me go, okay, there's some hope here. Finally.
Christmas miracles.
Yeah, it was.
They're out there. They're out there.
It was different, and it was nice because we had a major snowstorm right after that, the Tuesday after our charity event. We had a major snowstorm.
Okay.
And it started that night, and then it went all through that Wednesday. That night that I was interviewing Steve Hofstetter, my power went out because the snowstorm was so bad. So it cut off half my interview with Steve. Luckily he stayed on Zoom, and I just jumped right back on, and everything was fine. But I'm like, oh my God, of all fucking people, Steve Hofstetter, and he was understanding. But that snow stuck around for the 2 weeks, leading into Christmas because it was so fucking cold. But then the week of Christmas, it started to melt. And I'm like, oh, we're not going to get a white Christmas. And I'm like, fuck. And then it actually snowed on Christmas Day. And I was like, okay.
I love that.
Maybe something's going to happen. So. I
love that. No, there have been some amazing, funny little things this whole year. It's always a yin and a yang. Yeah. There's always something. So we're on the road to hope.
We are.
That's what we live off.
And as soon as you hear in your neighborhood, I'm not talking to you directly, I'm talking to the people, but if you hear in your neighborhood a show of any kind, or just an acoustic act, or they opening up the restaurants for an extra hour, or whatever the case might be, if you feel safe enough, if you feel comfortable enough, go visit some of these people because they're struggling. That $600 stimulus check didn't help much, and they're trying their asses off, and the service industry and the entertainment industry is hurting, especially the independent artists. And
$600 after 6 fucking months.
Yeah.
I can't. It's a fucking scam.
It is, but hopefully there is that light at the end of the tunnel, and hopefully this year we can finally get back to telling jokes, listening to music, and going to movie theaters and going out to restaurants and not worrying about potentially dying. Who knows? But
I mean, I guess if we all looked at death, we're going to do it anyways.
Yeah.
The only thing we know that's inevitable. We just don't know when.
It's true.
The only thing we know for sure. I actually stopped fearing death 4 years ago. I don't want to be jacked up, by the way. That I don't want. I take me out quick. But if you're going to make me suffer, we're going to have a fucking problem, okay? That I will not go out lightly with. But, yeah.
Hell no, I want to be Terry fucking Schiavo. I want to keep me on fucking life support. There could be a cure.
Whatever. Freeze me.
Keep me alive.
I know. I kind of joke with the kids. I'm like, I'm ready to go. I'm just letting you know. And you guys are totally equipped. And I've written you both letters. And it's basically fucking don't fail. That's it.
See, that's what I actually got to worry about for the next year, because in Virginia we have to be separated for a year. So I'm worried that if I get checked into the hospital for a fucking stubbed toe, my wife would walk in and just go, pull the fucking plug. I'm okay. No, fucking pull the plug. Just fucking.
I've had visions of that. I've had visions of that on my own side. Okay, where I would be like, what would I do? What would I do? This is going to incriminate me because it's going to be on YouTube, so I'm not going to say any more.
YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, the whole 9 yards.
Oh God, it doesn't even matter because some of the stuff in comedy, I don't even. I have no filter yet. I have a filter, but there's days where I'm like, oh wow, that's going up on TV forever. Okay.
I used to have a censor, but at the same time I didn't have one, like you were just saying. But now, the last year that I've been doing this show, I found that the more crazy shit I say, the higher my numbers are. So it's like, you know what? I'll just take the Howard Stern effect. I'll just be as crazy as possible, cause as much controversy as possible, and get more listeners.
Yeah, but also own it. Just own your shit. The biggest problem with this fucking country is we're all running around like, I didn't do it, you did it. I didn't do it, you did it. Like, fuck it. I did it.
Yeah.
I burned your house down.
The most controversial thing I said this year was not a rape joke, believe it or not. Was back in November, early December. So it was toward the end of the year. I did an episode based off of this mom hate group called 1 Million Moms. They're a Christian-based organization that loves to attack TV and organizations for supporting the LGBTQ community. And they were attacking, I think it was Oreo or something along those lines, for supporting LGBTQ. But anyway, being that it was a Christian-based organization, I went on my show and I said, well, if you're, all that stuff that you were talking about, being gay and being is wrong and blah, 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 is in the Old Testament. And in the Old Testament, back then, women were also, considered lesser than men. So if we want to go back to the Old Testament days, why don't you go ahead and do me a favor and get your ass in the fucking kitchen and make me some pie? So I said it just like that. And let me tell you some of the fucking hate mail I got in my email box the next day. I'm like, you all fucking missed the context of that fucking sentence. It was about, not about that. It was about the fact that we've moved on from that. Can we move on from that too? And people were hating on me for that one.
Who was hating on you?
Just random fucking listeners, because I called them out so many goddamn times, and I also emailed the episode to 1 Million Moms, and they put it out to their people. So I'm like, thank you very much for the clicks. I fucking appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, God, there's another.
It was so funny though.
Funny that you brought up the Old Testament, because again, I'm working on a joke right now about it, because I'm like, people make fun of astrology. I follow astrology. Yes, I'm having a midlife crisis. Okay, like. I love astrology. It was around before Christ. Just so we're clear, okay? Like, planets are still here. They're tangible. Like, I'm like, and I really believe whatever works for people. Like, God, it's like, be who you need to be. Follow what you need to follow. Just keep your fucking opinions to your fucking self about your fucking shit. Like,
that's it.
You want to be Christian? Be Christian. I support you. Do whatever you want to do. But don't knock me because I can follow a tarot reader on Instagram and she uplifts my soul for the day. Okay?
Exactly.
Like, I just leave me the fuck alone that I've got rose quartz in my bra. Like, it's making me feel better about myself. Okay?
Yeah.
That's it.
And that's how I feel as well, especially with the people who hate on the LGBTQ community. My 19-year-old is gay. And I actually have, me being a straight guy, I actually have a gay pride tattoo. Me and my daughter got matching tattoos. And
again, the tattoos.
So it's on my right arm. It's part of my sleeve. But I wear proudly, no pun intended. That I have a gay pride tattoo, being a straight guy, just to be able to support that kind of shit. So when people come out, I go at them hardcore, especially if they try to use Christianity.
Why are people? This is where I still
20.
I don't even know the Bible. Okay, so I cannot quote anything. I could quote probably a few things. I didn't read the Bible. Okay, most people haven't read the fucking Bible, but there are some of us who have. And I've been to every church on the planet because my mother was very confused or needed a babysitter. I'm not sure, but like, I was in every. I've learned. I learned a lot about a lot of religions. The Bible says we are created in God's image. Am I correct?
Correct.
So if we're all created in God's image, why the fuck would anyone have a problem with what anyone wants to be, feel, do, act, except for killing someone, okay?
Yeah.
Like, that's not okay. And raping small children. I'm not
Exactly.
into that. Like, isn't that the way?
Yeah, because God is a multiracial hermaphrodite sitting up on this throne, his or her throne up in heaven, going, I don't know what the hell's going on. This is not what I intended.
I mean, in the show or in life, or he's looking down and he's like, what's going on?
What's happened? Fuck it.
He's like,
I'm out. He checked out.
By the way, it's blind faith. Even God is blind faith. We've never seen God. We just like, right? I mean, I've never seen God, and he talks through people that claim that's it. Like he talks through us. But
even then, we're flawed. So even then, man is flawed. So who's to say that person isn't just fucking a schizophrenic? So we don't even know.
We don't know.
We don't know.
But I can tell you this:
Be a good fucking
Planet-
person. That's what it.
the planets are still there.
Exactly.
And the crystals are still there. And I'm just kidding. I just like to joke.
No,
about it 'cause
but it's true. I mean, you know,
everybody's looking at everybody knows their sign. Do you know your sign?
I do.
See? No, everybody claims, but everybody's like, what are you? I'm a Leo. I'm a Pisces. I'm an Aries rising. Really? Okay. Good.
I'm an Aries, and I hardcore represent everything Aries.
I love that we're going here. Everyone's gonna be like, that California lady boy, she just like took it to the next level. That hippy dippy, whatever. That's right, bitches. That's how I did it. What is your rising, by any chance?
I can't remember. I just did this a while back with another person. I can't remember what it was.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't
That's how
remember.
you're perceived, and I'm gonna say you're probably perceived as like a Taurus or even a Leo. And I don't.
I think
know.
it was Leo. I think it was Leo was my rising sign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's how we appear to people. My rising is a Leo, and well, it's just for just kicks and giggles. We'll see what happens. I look like a lioness.
So do I right now with my gigantic mane and my hair.
I'm gonna see if I can get it together so at least it's there. Yeah, this is how I approach people. So I am a full lioness. It's fake, by the way, but who cares? Okay. Yeah. So I could have just worn this. I was like, oh, it looks like shit.
It looks fine. It looks good. You look beautiful as always.
You're sweet. Thank God I have a good dermatologist.
You know, for somebody who's almost 50, I swear to God, I would have never guessed that. I thought you were my age.
Really?
Honest to God.
By the way, a lady yesterday, I was picking up sushi and we had our masks on, and I can't shoot my forehead up anymore because it drops, and that's whatever. I need to actually have movement. I can't just be like, ice queen. I mean, I'd like to, but I can't. She goes, I bet we're talking outside. She's little, she's cute, and she's like, I bet you're way younger than I am. And my face is covered, right?
Yeah.
I guess my eyes can be deceiving. And I was like, no, I don't think so. And I was like, how old are you? And that was just me being polite. She did look a little older than I did. But I'm always polite. Like, just, I don't know her. She was a stranger trying to tell me that I was going to be shot up with fucking weird shit. And then she goes, I'm 48. And I said, I'm 48. And she's like, oh. Like, and I was like, she goes, you look younger. And I said, God, I just, you know what? I don't know why I look younger. Probably because I have a soul of a 16-year-old. I eat teenagers for breakfast.
That's it. That's the way to do it.
Yeah, I don't know. I act like a kid. My 20-year-old is like, you're acting like a kid. And I'm like, yeah, because I'm going to die soon. So I want to go back to the who's like, life is wonderful. Let's go get it. I actually do.
That actually sounds like a good idea. You know, we were adults for 20 years, you know, from, 20 to 40. Now in our 40s, they say, fuck it.
I did. I kind of Benjamin Buttoned myself.
I think I'm going to do the same. I got 4 more years of being an adult, and I'm just going to go down from there. Got 4 more months. That's it.
I do dances all over the city. I break out and dance wherever I am. I start singing everywhere. It's too much for my family members, that's for sure.
The same way. The same fucking way.
We've forgotten, I think, especially now, we got to get back to our youth. We got to get back to what makes us feel good. And that shit makes me feel good. And I don't think there's an age on anything.
There's not. You're 100% right. It's because there's no one person in this entire world that's ever going to make you happy. If you're not happy with yourself, you'll never be happy with anybody else. So you've got to do what makes you happy before you do anything else. Bottom line.
You and I are on the same path there. You and I are I'm doing a lot of fucking introspective work. right
Yeah.
now.
I learned that the hard way a long time ago. That
Is that your first marriage or your second?
probably it was in my third that I realized it.
That was a week ago, dude. That was a week ago.
It was wait. But the whole thing lasted 13 years.
I know, Tina.
10 years of marriage, 3 years of dating. And I learned that because, after I got out of my second marriage, which I was like, mentally and physically abused for 3 years, 2 years, whatever it was. I realized real quick that, I can't depend on somebody else for my own happiness. And I had to, I did a real hard look in the mirror and I flipped the script and I really kind of did that. And I've been this eccentric, crazy person ever since. And maybe I just got too much for her. I don't know. I'm kind of an asshole. So who knows?
What did she say when she was on her way out?
That we're just not right for each other anymore.
She might like someone else.
We're not going to go there.
I was right. By the way, I don't charge for my psychic abilities. Yeah, it's fine. Here's the thing. It's going to hurt. It's fucking going to hurt. You're going to sit in it. It's going to suck. You've already gotten through 2 of these. What's another one, right? Like,
well, the first one doesn't count, so I don't count the first one. So
what do you mean the first one doesn't count?
it was only a year, and we only did it for insurance purposes because we had a one-night stand and we got her pregnant.
I've been married for 21 years for the same fucking reason, okay?
Oh, fuck me.
Got me knocked up. And yeah, it's amazing. I love that whenever I tell this story, people are like, wow. I'm like, dude, here's what I know. If you're fucking a hooker without a condom, you'd pull out. There's no fucking way you'd get that hooker pregnant, right? You don't want her, well, unless maybe you're Trump. I don't know. But I don't, and there's a few stupid assholes that usually are politicians that'll do that shit. Like, my dick, my sperm, I'm so powerful, my sperm will just turn into gold in her vagina. No baby will come. And then all of a sudden, it's like, oh, I have a baby?
What? Is that how that works?
Yeah. Hence, fucking, I can't. I'm not going to throw anybody under a bus even though I want to.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Where's I fucking going with this? Oh yeah, but he got, literally, I had a miscarriage and I fly up to go do the Patriot. He's working on the Patriot and I do the Patriot. I was in there too as a glorified extra. You'll see me crying. So good at crying, like amazing at crying. This was eons ago as well. And I said, listen, I just had a miscarriage. I want to continue my career. I realize I don't want to have a baby. I'm not ready. I'm not ready for this. The miscarriage, I'm just not. And it was totally traumatic. Like I had to go to the hospital and get a shot because I have a weird blood type. And the baby it was like, I was like, what the fuck is happening? Like, isn't the baby just supposed to fly out of the toilet? Like, it's like, I'm 6 weeks. Like, isn't this just supposed to be an easy, period? And we move on. And it was not. Nothing about it was easy. And he's like, yeah, I get it. Halloween night, we go out, we're drinking. And shame on me. I probably should have wrapped the condom between my lips and put it on his dick so I could have solidified that it was on there. And we're having sex. And we love each other. We're like, yeah, whatever. And I'm like, the whole time we're having, this is such a fucking, I can't even believe I'm doing this. The whole time I'm like, don't come in me, okay? Don't come in me. I mean, the 3 seconds. Don't come in me. That was enough. Like, I can talk a lot in 3 seconds. I can get out the words, don't come at me in 3 seconds. Like, I can do it. But literally, that's a dick move. And
Oh my God.
It could be for comedic purposes or not, I'm not sure. Okay.
This is why I love my show.
Wait it out. And I get pregnant. And then he comes in me, and I'm literally, and he's like, oh, God. Yeah. And I'm like, I want you to know in 3 seconds, I said, I don't even know how anyone would even want to fuck that. Like, I don't even know how that's attractive. But I must have said it 100 times, knowing full well, right? And he did. And everyone will say to me, he's a producer, and everyone will say, wow, you married a guy in the movie business, wow, God, you did that just to help your career. And I think you know this. He did. He helped fucking kill it. Okay? He helped fucking kill it. I love that joke.
It's so fucking good.
True.
Oh
Okay.
my God.
Yeah, because it's always great when they're like, you're like, is there a speaking role in the movie? And they're like, no. But I have a great role for you doing stunts where you're standing behind not only you get to be the actor, but you're going to stand behind the actor's double, and then their double, and then their double. And then you're just going to be pushed out of the car. Okay? Like, we're going to see if we can actually kill you off because I've upped your life insurance. I tell you. And I was like, just give me like something with like 5 lines. I'll be okay. Like, I'll be okay with this. No. Let's do this. You'll be on more. And then it's so funny. Life is funny. And here we are. But I'm going to have a show this year. I don't know what kind of show. Something's going to happen. Somebody hire me for a show.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying the same thing. I'm saying the same fucking thing. I haven't laughed so hard in a while. Thank you, Jessica.
Oh, God.
I needed this tonight. I really did.
You're in good company, honey. Somebody said to me, and I'll tell you this. As I know you're going to close this out, but I want to share it. I'm at a party, and somebody said, I don't know what's going on with you and your husband in your life right now. These are friends of ours that I've kind of kept my mouth shut about everything. And I said, yeah, I'm not going to talk about what's going on. And he goes, just so you know, we're all one argument away from where you are. Think about it. We're all one argument. I was like, that is the most profound New Year's Eve statement of the night.
That, you know what? That is a great way to end this episode because that is so fucking true. So fucking true. Holy shit. You just...
I had to sit with it for a minute. I was like,
oh my God.
We are all one argument away from where you are.
That's profound. Whoever said that to you,
he's smart. He's a smart guy. He's super funny too.
Yeah, that guy deserves deserves every award ever because that is so. We need to get him a humanitarian award.
He won't listen to this, but maybe he will. I'll tell him that I said his name in it. Hey, Mario, that's yours. I never forgot it, and I have memory issues. And I was super drunk. So, like, the fact that I even remembered it is pretty amazing.
That's pretty profound. Wow.
Oh, no, I'm going to write a whole set about all around that statement.
Oh, yeah, everything that's happened to me in the last month, I have so much good shit coming out of. It's not even funny. Oh, my God. I just need to... I put it all to paper, and now I just need to work through it all in my head and rewrite it, and then rewrite it again, and then rewrite it again, and
then just say it. Just do it.
You yeah.
On the Zoom mics. The Zoom mics help you really just. I mean, I talk a lot of trash on them. I just take a premise, and that's kind of how I write, anyways.
Yeah, it's me too.
And I work it, and then I have to go in and shift and stuff and do whatever. But I work more on just being. This is the most comfortable I've been in any podcast or anything, and like I'm pretty mellow in this. And normally I've had my spazzy moments, but like normally I sit in I gotta entertain, I gotta show everybody what I am. It's like I'm a circus act.
I don't want that because again, I want raw, real, and honest. That's what this whole show's about. Well,
that's not real crazy me. It's just a different part of me.
Yeah.
But this is the most relaxed, and I know it's because I do all the Zoom shit.
Well, I appreciate you saying that because I try to make the show as fun and relaxing as possible because again I just want real and genuine, honest and a conversation just to have a good time. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about.
Oh, that's good. Me too. Really? At this point, what else is there? Because I don't do small talk.
Yeah, me neither.
If you want to talk about the fucking weather, go find a neighbor that you live next door to. Like, do not fucking come to my house.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about your trees, how your ficus are growing. Like, I want to talk about real shit, real feelings. I feel the same way.
Well, I think we did that tonight, definitely.
We
But yeah,
did something.
we did. So when's your next Zoom show that you're doing?
Oh shit! I have a couple shows coming up. I have a show on Thursday. No, I have a show on. I'm just getting back. People are like, they're like, hey, and I'm like, no, not quite. Like, but I have. Let's see. I have Friday. I have a Dat Fan show. Saturday, I'm doing Liars Comedy. I'm hosting that show, and I'm also doing Teresa Lowe's podcast live cast on Saturday. And then I have my show, or it's not mine show. It's produced by Mark Clabber. It's called Monday Funnies, but I'm the host always on that show, and it's with Denise Medina, and they put it on Facebook. And it's a great show. We get really good comedians from all over the place, and that's this Monday, and it's live at 5. Like it's live at 5, and it's on Facebook and I think YouTube too. So I kind of have like a fun, and then of course I'm doing mics sporadically all through the week to just kind of mess around. But yeah, I'm back. I guess I'm back. I was like, I need a little more time, but I'm back.
There we go. And we'll definitely stay in touch too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because
You're gonna have to help me with my whole getup like this.
absolutely, I'll be there for you. I got you.
Yeah, I need a whole rigmarole set up.
Whatever you need, I got you. And
Okay.
and then once we start, once we start doing shows again, or you can get me onto some shows, you can repay the favor that way.
And I can repay. Also, I can get you on Zoom shows and stuff.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I just need to. I just haven't actively pursued it because I've been so focused on this show. But at the same time, I'm like, I need to be doing both. I can't do. Yeah, I need to be. I'm not doing anything else. So
You got to put out everything and see what sticks.
exactly. And that's my goal this year is because I need to get back into comedy. I miss telling jokes, and I miss it. It's fun. It's fun being able to tell jokes on here and have shoot the shit with my guests every night. But at the same time, to be able to just 5-7 minutes or whatever it is, just fucking telling jokes. That's what I need. I need that.
Hey, listen, I know, I do miss it. Although I'm doing a lot of self-help at this point.
Comedy is self-help.
It's funny. I use it as not as really occasionally. Sometimes it slips out because I just TMI, but clearly. But I have a therapist, and again, I talked about it a couple times. I really want to come out of this whole quarantine thing, and I know we are going to eventually. I want to be more whole. Yeah. And I want to be more whole in myself. I've had to ask myself a lot of fucking questions that I was like, I kept acting like I had the answers to, like I got this, and then I was like, bitch, you ain't got nothing. Okay. You got, but you are a shit show. And my mind also is very active. So, it's like, I want to walk out of this going, okay, I'm a little more at peace with me, since I will probably be a 49-year-old non-virgin again. I know that didn't make sense. But
No,
it doesn't.
but it makes sense at the same time.
It was me trying to subliminally say I could be alone, lonely, and afraid at 49.
Yeah.
So I want to be very comfortable in that.
I'm lonely and afraid at 39, so we can do this together.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's been a fucking pleasure. And I needed this tonight. I really fucking did. After the weekend I've had, and just the mind, the headspace I've been at, I was like, I need a comedian, because all the PR people were off the last 2 weeks, so I haven't had a chance to really book anybody. And I'm like, you know what? I know exactly who I want to book on Monday. And I'm like, yeah. And you were honestly the first thought in my head. Like, I'm like, when I started realizing, because I emailed all the normal people that I normally email for, because I'm still trying to do the band thing, but I'm like, I need a comedian. And the first, I'm like, I'm calling Jessica. And yeah.
You're the Real Housewife shit right here.
Yeah.
Trophy wife nonsense, Mother of the Year bullshit, all that. accidentally called your daughter a C word. Like, you're getting a pro, is what I'm saying.
Well, to have you as the first guest of my new year was definitely the right choice.
Thank you.
Like I said, you were the first person that popped into my head. I was like, you know what, I'm calling her. So thank you so much.
I love being here. Thank you for having me.
It was my pleasure. All right, guys. Well, we'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same place, same YouTube fucking channel, and on all fucking podcast platforms. But until tomorrow, stay happy, stay healthy, and as always, stay fucking heavy. Bye, guys. We'll see you tomorrow.
All right. I hope I was okay.